You have to send your question to panelists and attendees because only I can see it. Somebody's asking when will the course start? It will start on the 18th of February, 18th of this month. I'll just announce it 1 minute and then we'll go ahead. Let me go. Okay, I think we're live on YouTube. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Outlook. I'm looking at some of the questions. One of them is, how was my trading week? You will get to see how was my trading week. It was pretty neutral, nothing much happened. When will the course start? It's going to start on the 18th of February. We have only 1 week before the course. A lot of people signed up already. If you're interested in it, you know how to sign up. Send me a message on Skype. Let me just put my Skype here so you guys can get it. If you'll be watching this webinar for the first time, you get it. It's MANGAL 457. If you want confirmation that is me, because there's a lot of people out there who are trying to scam you using my name. If you want confirmation, that's me. When you send me the message, I will tell you how to get confirmation. You tell me you would like some confirmation, that's me, and I'll tell you how to get a confirmation. Pretty much, I don't think they tried to scam you on Skype, but you never know, right? So there are a lot of pop-up things coming out. The world is weird out there. So let's go. I think everybody got that. If you didn't get it, you can get it from the recording. So let's start. As usual, just to talk about that, as I said, we are changing the way how traders are going to rely to everybody who is online selling you some crap or trying to convince you that they're professional traders. And I'm starting that by telling you, showing you my account on a weekly basis, right? I show you my account every week so that you can have an idea what I do, how I do, what I'm doing with the account, where I'm going. And based on that, you can decide whether what I'm trading is professional. So if you're joining me the first time or you're watching this video for the first time, let me give you a rundown very fast. This is the balance in the account. It's a 500K account, $500,000 account. This is a live $500,000 account. Some of you have seen me trade it live. That is the balance as it stands right now. We have a slight drawdown, which is trades that we are in that are minus, right? So let's look at what happened with the trades we had last week and the trades we have this week. One of the trades I'll keep here, I have here, you can pay attention to this, is 1,000 drawdown. That's a silver trade, 60,000 lots, right? That is, I don't think they're standard lots, they're just lots, but silver, how they trade it, I think ounces or something like that. So what happened to the silver trade and why am I still in? Because if you remember last time I was $25,000 profit on silver, right? As all of you know, I'm long-term in silver, which means I don't really close my silver trades just because it's pulling back a little. So silver made this up move. I was $25,000 or $24,000 in profit. It started to pull back. It was only when silver came back to this level and started to go down that I closed the trade. So I closed the trade for not a big profit, because if you would remember, my entry point was here from the previous week when we were doing the live trading. So this time it was in drawdown, then it was in profit, then again in drawdown. Right? That's normal. If you're long-term trading, you're going to have a lot of that up and down, right? That's wave analysis. When it came here, I realized we're going to go down some more. So what I did is I closed it. And I re-entered a little too early. I re-entered right in this area. I thought we were going to get a drawdown. It started to move. I re-entered back there. So as you can see, I'm 1,000 drawdown. That's not much on 60,000 lots, right? That's like a couple pips. So basically, I could have closed it a number of times to break even, but I'm no longer interested in that. So what would I do with that trade if I'm still in? If this trade goes back here in turn and I will see the turning point like I saw it there, I would close it. But this time I'll be buying back at the low here. You've seen me done that in here a number of times. I showed you how I did that, right? If you haven't seen it, go look at my live trading. You will see it. The screen is frozen. Is the screen frozen? It's okay for everybody. Mine is okay. Somebody answered you. Screen is fine. So let's go. Yes, that it's on your side. You may want to refresh. You may want to do something on your side. So if this goes here and we see that this is making a running flat or an expanding flat for one more low, and how am I going to see that? Well, we are wave traders. We see that, right? It's based on wave analysis. So if this happened, then I will close the trade and I will re-enter here for the upside. It's not downside. I'm not changing my view on silver to go down as yet. I don't see a down structure as yet. So I will still be a buyer in silver. Only I will close for positive and then I'll buy low. If it comes to this level, I'll probably be in positive. If I have to close it for 1,002 loss on a $600,000 account almost, that's not a lot, right? So you can take that $2,000 loss and then rebuy at the bottom here. That is what I will do with silver. So I gave up a lot of money that I had on silver, which means I didn't close it. I saw the downside, but I didn't close it because I don't know how big that correction was going to be. We're not in the guesswork, and you have to have, if you're a trader, you have to understand that, which means you don't just jump in and jump out of trade crazy. You must have a plan. And my plan was not to close it. So let's go. That's with the silver. That's the only trade I have that I had from the last time. Yen trade, these are all 4 new trades. I think they're all in very slight drawdown. You can see that. So let me show you what are those trades. Yen trade, no, sorry, the yen trade I was in from last week as well. I did not do anything to the yen trade. Like I told you guys, if it comes to the top here, maybe I will close it. We saw that I was in positive, but I decided I'm not going to close it because the downside might be short-lived. Well, they're correcting right here, and they're possible that they will drop to this level and they will go back up. It's still an uptrend. The trend has not changed. We're just in a correction. For those of you who don't know, this is just a simple correction, I think, in the making. I can see them dropping here and then probably taking off. If it comes back to the top on this correction, if it comes back to the top, they're in the correction. So let me show you what that would look like, right? If this comes back to the top of this correction here for one more down, I'll close it because I'll be in positive. And then I will rebuy in the break of this low. Somewhere here, I'll be buying back. Now, where exactly I enter will depend on how it goes and what my strategy says. Like what strategy I'll be using to buy back at that point. There are different strategies. Each strategy will have its own stop loss, its own entry point, its own risk calculated, which means that will vary the lot size I have in the trade. Right? These are basic stuff. If you're a trader, you should know these things, right? These are like very basic stuff you should know if you want to be a trader in the first place. Otherwise, you're not a trader. So that is what I'm going to do with this trade. I'm not worried about that trade. That trade is going to give me about $10,000 to $20,000 when it goes up, right? Because this is a big move to the upside. And as you can see, I have a pretty huge lot size on it. Next trades, 3 other trades I'll just make all in one very fast. So that is the pound, pound CAD, pound Swiss, pound dollar. They're all buy. So what are they? Why am I buying those trades? If you remember from last week, we were looking at those trades and I was saying, okay, they all have downward structure, right? We were looking at all of this and we were saying they all looks like they're going to go down to retest the low. Well, they made a little move up and somebody freaked out. I hope he didn't lose his account. One guy freaked out and went on YouTube and said, hey, this guy said they're all going to go down except for the pound yen. Look, they're going up. Let me just remind you, on answering him on that question, let me just remind you, we do wave analysis. We don't do straight line analysis. We don't have anything called straight line analysis. So when we're looking for a down move, depending on the time frame we're looking for that down move, it would either go down and come up and go down and come up and go down and come up. Or if we're looking at an up move, it's going to go up, come down, go up, come down, go up, come down. So don't freak out. When I said we're looking at a long-term downside on this one, on the daily and the 4-hour, the trend is down, and I'm okay with that. We're looking at the downside. We're not looking at anything. You see my arrow is still there. It hasn't changed. You're going to get pulled back. When we were looking at this to the upside, it pulled back and it pulled back. When we were looking at this to the downside, it pulled back and pulled back and pulled back and pulled. It was still going down. So I hope you didn't lose your account. That's my only wish for you, that you didn't lose your account last week. So you start freaking out like if you don't know what trading is about, right? So why did I take the buy? Well, if you can look at the 1 hour, and I'll do this so that I would skip this one when we do the webinar, when I get into the webinar itself. You can see that they actually broke out here. That is why I'm in, but then they came down, and that's okay. No need to freak out. We have seen that before. So it's going to come down a little more, and then it's going to do this. This is what I was trying to get. So when would I change my view on that? If the structure changed. So far, there's absolutely no structural change in that. Now, I don't say, let me just warn you guys, I am not selling signals. I'm not giving you trades here. I'm showing you what I do with my account, right? So you don't have to take the same trade because you will not be able to manage the trade. If this makes a correction here and decides it's going to go down somewhere, I would likely exit for break even and probably buy back lower. If at some point this is going to make a running flat before it goes there, I'm likely going to come out, maybe be in the sell and maybe be in the buy and then in the sell again. Right? So your ability to analyze the chart like I can do may be different. So you should not take the trades I take, because how I'm going to manage them during the week is not how, it's not, I will not be coming to you with that. Only my traders in my room get to do that, because then they get daily update analysis from me. Right? So watch this one, this is one. And they're all just making corrections. All those trades were basically corrections. Pound Swiss, a correction to the upside. The pound Swiss might be easier for you guys to understand, right? Because you look at this, a sharp move up, they kind of make a correction. Even if they drop, they still go back to the top. They make a correction here, they drop. They make a correction here, they drop. They make a correction here, they go up. That is pretty easy. Now, can this come a little lower then do that? Possible. We are still in this. So why am I interested in this small trade? Like I always said, I'm not interested in those small trades. I'm not interested in if it's going to give a small trade, but I want you to look at the bigger correction. This is what I'm interested in. When I see this and I start to see this, I'm thinking, well, every time they come here, I want to be in the buy because they can do that, which means one more impulse out of this. And what is the possibility that this long-term could go? If you remember what I said about the Swiss, there is a chance that this is a leading diagonal. They will do this and drop. We will see whether that is what it's doing. Or the chances they will go back and retest the top if this becomes a bigger correction, right? If this just turns out to be a bigger correction here, there's a good chance they're going to go up. So that is why I'm in this trade, right? Otherwise, for that little piece of move, I really don't care. Not my type of trading, right? It's not a bad move if you want to catch that, but that's not my type of trading. Punkat, definitely in this one, because when we redid the analysis, you remember, all of you remember the daily correction here that will go down, and it still will go down, right? That's a daily one. This will still go down. Just like the pound Swiss, it will still go down, but just there's a bigger move on the pound Swiss to the upside before it goes down, right? So watch this trade. So when you come to the 4 hour, what we notice, not something I'm going to share here, but what we notice is there was still a possibility for one more up, then one more down. That is when we did the analysis in our group and we figure out all the patterns and we said, okay, if the patterns are correct the way we see them, then they should go up more. So some of our traders got this on the news event, we bought that. We were here. Actually, I was positive when the news came out. I actually took the breakout and I was positive when the news came out. And if you were in my trading room, my traders are all here, they will tell you. I told all of them to close their trades. Close your trades and let's get in on the way we would use our strategy to get in the trades. And we actually made money Friday. We made money, I think with the trade we really made money in was the EuroCAD, not on this one. But all my traders were advised to close it. At the time that I was telling them to close, I still had my trade. I didn't close mine, right? And there's a reason why I don't close mine, because of the way I trade. The long-term strategy I'm using is different from the strategy my traders trade when they're trading a small account and short-term. So you would remember me telling you when I was showing you my account line the first time, don't try to copy what I do. I trade different from the way you were trading. As a matter of fact, there are no two traders in the world that will trade alike. Even if you have the same analysis, like we have the same analysis. I have traders who trade in 15 minutes, traders who trade 4 hours. And literally, I can tell you that because only this week I did 2 one-on-one with my traders. What is one-on-one? One-on-one, if I have a struggling trader in my group, I said, call me, and then we do one-on-one for like an hour or so with him. I go through all his trades, and then I said, okay, this is what you need to do. So 2 traders who I did about 4 traders this week, but 2 of them, one of them was put on a strategy to trade only 4 hours on daily because he's working. So he's going to trade only in the 4 hour daily. I gave him a special strategy how to do that. And the other one is going to trade in the 15 minutes and the 1 hour. So the first one is going to take maybe 1 trade a week. If he's lucky, he got 2 trades a week. The second one is going to take about 10 trades a day. Both of them put on different strategies. Well, that is because of where both of them are making mistakes and where their weak points are. So this is how we do it. I deal with my traders individually when they're struggling. And then I said, okay, this is what you need to do because this is your problem. Right? I had one trader who couldn't click trades at all. And I said, just go in the 50 minutes to click all the trades you can find. I just give him a strategy whereby it doesn't matter how much trades he click, he's never going to lose his account. He's just never going to lose it. I just wanted to get used to clicking trades because he just couldn't. He freezes up when the trades time comes, right? So I said, okay, you just go and take trade crazy all over the place. Don't worry. He's taking them at so low risk that he just needs to get used to clicking trades, and then we will set him on a very good strategy how he's going to make money. Let's see how he's doing that first. So each trader individually makes their own mistake. They have their own problem, and that is the kind of things I do with my traders when they're struggling in the room, right? So somebody asked when the course is going to start. The course is going to start on the 18th of February. You have 1 more week to join if you wish to join, right? A lot of people have already signed up for it. If you have 1 year experience in the market, not necessarily. If you're newer than 1 year, don't take the course and don't take any courses. If you're buying signals, you better stop doing that because that's nonsense. I just explained to you that I told my traders to close their trade, but I didn't close mine. If I was a signal service seller, you would see like the signal service is making money and you will not make money. I can do that. I can make pips every day if I want. Making pips doesn't mean you're making money. Your strategy and how you trade. Look at silver. I had 24,000 in profit and now it's drawdown. I only booked, I think, about 8,000 out of it. out of the 24,000. Making money and making pips are two different things. So when you want to know what a professional trader does, a professional trader first has to have a professional account, right? Somebody with a $1,000 account is never a professional trader. He could be selling you signals, but he's not a professional trader. It's up to you if you want to buy from him. That's your choice. But just to let you know so that you're not scammed out there into believing, crazy stuff. Everybody you go to, any webinar you go to, anywhere you see a group of people posting charts and all those stuff, you can demand of them, hey, you're saying you're a professional trader. Why don't you do this? You know what to do, right? You have to have some kind of professional trading. Because most of those guys are copying other people's stuff and posting it. How I know? A lot of my guys are doing it. There are a few guys who I've thrown out of the group who've learned a few things, and some of them probably still in the group copying stuff and trying to sell it secretly somewhere else. Not only from me, from my top traders as well, they would copy and sell. That's how we know. We have found quite a number of them and throw them out of the group, right? So they're not good traders. I can tell you that for sure. They're not the good ones. The good ones are making money in the group and they're happily there, right? So you have a choice what you do, but I'm telling you how not to be scammed. I'm trying to prevent you, if you're a trader, how not to be scammed. Know that. Let them show you their account. Let them do what they're doing, and then you can see. So that's where we are. So where is the account? We were 83. The last time we were 60 something. We were 83 there. That's booked. But like I said, this doesn't mean anything until you book it. The last time this was 87,000, right? Well, we only managed to book 83 out of that 87. And not even 83. I think I booked about 78, and the rest are small trades that didn't go or break-even trades that made it 83. So far, I can't say that for the last 2 weeks there were any winning trades, because those are break-even. Those 2,000 are break-even money. Winning trades when you make about 30, 40,000. The next, when I get a winning trade, I'll be over the 100,000 profit. Now, what would be a winning trade when they come out of this of these sideways move? If Punkat, when I get the sell in the Punkat and it breaks, this would be a winning trade for me. So that should give me about 50, 60,000. So how many trades do I have to make before I get a winning trade from here to here? If every time it comes to the top, I try to sell it, and every time it starts to go back, I try to buy, like I'm in the buy right now, it's going to give me 1 or 2, maybe 5,000. That's the most you get out of that. But basically, when you get one winning trade, you make 30, 40, 50,000. That's what builds your account. So far, about 3 winning trades in that account you're looking at, right? You get bigger sums of money when you make the winning trade. The rest of them are mostly you get small sum, they're break-even trades. They're 1%. That's not a winning trade. 1% is just like break-even. That's like above the break-even. That's a trade that didn't go where I wanted to go. Silver will be a very good trade. Silver were the ones I got the winning trades on. Will be good, and silver will probably do a lot, much more than double the account. But silver is still in the consolidation if you're looking at the daily phase, right? We're still within that daily consolidation, right? Silver will start to make money as soon as it gets out of here. And when I said that will start to make money, I mean doubling your account, right? While it's in here, they can still retest the low and then go. Silver will go. As a matter of fact, if silver comes to retest the low, I will be the happiest person around there. Because then I have an opportunity to just gold in, right? I get a chance to go back in there now, not with 500K, but with 600K, and buy my way to the top, right? Every time it goes to low, that's a better opportunity for you now. But I doubt that is going to happen. They'll consolidate here and they'll take off, right? I wouldn't be that lucky to get it back there. So very, very much you would have to trade this as it go up. We want this to break out of that consolidation, confirm the upside, and then we're totally in it for longer term. While it's doing that, you still have to be careful, right? That's called wave analysis and understanding where the patterns could turn and where they can't. And so far, I don't see it turning on the Swiss and the silvers yet. If it does turn, they will have to come back somewhere here and then start to drop, and we'll see. Don't worry, right? That is what we do daily. We keep tracking these charts daily for the patterns that we see. And as long as we see a pattern, we recognize that it's going to give us one way or the other. And then we make the decision, if you're in the trade, what to do. Or if you're not in the trade, which strategy do you use to get in, right? Basically, very simple things, right? This is what you need to know. If you don't know this stuff, and if you're not doing it that way, then you're really getting yourself in a lot of trouble. So for the last 2 weeks, not very much. Let's hope next week is going to be much more successful for all of us. And we can make about 5 or 10% next week. That would put us very much into where we want to go. So let's start dollar index, right? By the way, if you want more details in the course, at the very end, I'll use 5 minutes to talk about that. So let's go. Dollar index. Dollar index is going up and it's making a correction. We were in a bigger daily correction. I think I've showed all of you this. We're in a bigger daily correction here, right? The whole big correction they're making right here, right now. Now, The only question you'd ask is whether this correction is over, right? Remember when we had this one, we thought that was a run. So it could be that it's over and this is going to take off, but this correction in here is not looking like a takeoff to me, right? Based on the way we've seen waves analysis and the way we look at patterns, that's not a complete pattern. So what I'll be looking for this week, and that might be a mess for us because this week I think we're probably going to be doing this again. Right, we pretty much will be right within the same. I don't see the takeoff coming here as yet. Very much so that they will go up, but this is too sharp. The only possibility I'll be looking for is a running flat, but that almost excluded. Right, the running flat within here that is almost excluded. So I think most likely we'll either be still sideways before we go up. Even they may drop and break the low, but after that they're going to go up. It looks more upside than downside right now. The pattern we're looking for is an up pattern. Same with euro. Euro will definitely drop down. There's no question about that because you're looking at this pattern here. Now, this broke the structure. So I doubt, very rarely you find they break the structure like this and then take off. Most times you're expecting it to at least tag the low and then take off. Right? Most times they will tag the low. Now, this one is rare cases where you have a some structure that is a contracting flat in the middle, go retest the top, then come back. And there is one chart that has this very same pattern. If it repeats the pattern, they will have to come back here. They will have to drop below here, go back to the top, and then come back, right? So one of my traders sent me that chart actually, and I doubt any one of you know where that pattern exists. Right? None of you will know that. So one of my traders sent that to me and said, hey, do you think it's making this one? And I said, yeah, sure, because that's what we do. We look at patterns and then we figure out where we've got that. No, not that one. It's on the CAD. It's on the CAD daily. So I want you to take a copy of this CAD daily. I think the only thing he missed was this second up on it, but he did pretty well when he saw it. So that second up there is not a problem. He's gonna figure it out very fast. So if we take a copy of this and I take it across there, I could copy the up move and I'll copy the down move. So I'll get the whole structure, right? So copy this, copy, and let's move it across to, I think we were in the euro, right? So the euro is a smaller version, right? The daily is much smaller. So let's hope it doesn't give us a problem in terms of the size. So I'll just leave this here so you can see. I'll draw on them because they're not equal in terms of size. So you have a move down, you have a move down, you got to move up, you got to move up. You have a contracting flat in the middle there. You got a contracting flat, running flat, sorry, in the middle there. You got a regular flat here. You got to move with a small correction in it. You got to move with a small correction in it there. You made 1, 2, and he put 3 here, but actually that one is the running flat in the middle there, which he missed, right? So we've got 1, 2. We need to get this, we need to get that, and then we need to come back. And if that is it, then they're going to do this and then drop. So if they're going to repeat this very pattern, at least you know what to look for here. That is if they're going to repeat the very same pattern. They don't always repeat the very same pattern. There are so many variations of how the patterns could develop. But this is a very, very close one to say you might get something very similar to that. So you can keep that in mind. Why is that very important for you if you understand all the variations of the patterns of how they could develop for you? Well, then you're more aware. You're trading from a knowledge point of view. You're aware what you can see. And if you start to see it doing that, great. And that's how we make money most of the time. When we look at patterns, say, you know what, hey, we've seen this before. This is exactly what it's going to do. And then you come back and you watch it and say, bingo, that's it. So how would my traders remember those patterns where they exist? It's not about remembering. It's about knowing the patterns. You first have to know them, right? You can't remember something you've never seen or heard of or don't know how it looks like. I always did that. I always do that test with my traders. I always ask them to find me some carambola or something like that. It's a name of something that I know, but nobody else knows. Basically a fruit or a fish or something like that in my country, and they just can't find it, right? They have no idea what it even looks like. And it's the same thing with wave analysis. If you don't know how to analyze waves correct, you wouldn't be able to get them correct. So when you start to see them correct, then you understand and you know what they're going to do, right? Let's go, pound. So euro, short term, watch this to probably go back up. Put it in the 1 hour. Short term, I think this is going to go back up. Even if they break that low, we might go back up slightly. And then we're going to see if they're making that pattern. If they make that pattern, they're going to go up, come down, go back up. So you'll be in sideways movement most of the time. Pound, basically, I think this is going to go up. Pretty much sure about that. They're going to at least try to make one more up. You can see a sharp move. You can start to see them doing this. They'll probably make one more, not necessarily break that top, but they can make one more to this level and then drop. Now, the one more might only tag the top and drop. So you'll have to be careful if you're getting into that buy as to where you want to get out of it, right? How you're going to manage that trade. Can it be a running flat? If it's a running flat, then they will just drag it down like this, make a sharp move, and then drop. We have seen that pattern as well, right? I think I've shown you a few of that patterns across there. Well, what if you're in a buy and that happens? No need to panic. I showed you already many times. You will get a million opportunities to get out for positive or for a very small loss when you're in trades like that, right? It's all about understanding the charts. It's not about being panicked, right? So look at that. I think we did DXY already. Aussie, pretty much same thing here, same pattern. We are getting some sharp moves. You can look at that. We probably made a move up. So the question is, if Aussie is going to continue to go down from here, if this was just all the correction you have, if this piece here was all your correction, then we need to see a correction here. And that would be downside, right? Something like even that would be a good sign of downside. They're starting to make a very small one there. If they break the very small correction, you don't get a very big move, you get a very small move. So if you're selling this small correction here, it's going to be a small move down. Eventually, they will make a bigger correction before you go down. So when you're selling something like that, you have, at the bottom of a move, you have to be careful. Because you could be trapped in that, left in a sideways, or take a loss in a sideways move and then watch it fall, right? What are the chances of it going up? Well, if they decide to go up, they will have to go a lot more sideways before they go. There'll be a bigger sideways move in here before the upside. So short term, Aussie, maybe downside, you look for that. This is just in correction. If they decide to make this a bigger correction, well, then you'll take a long time before you get a trade on it. New Zealand, pretty much we're expecting this to probably go tag the low again, come back, tag this low and come back, and the same pattern on the daily is still intact. That is a running flat, but coming back to the low and then go. So you're getting a correction in there, which is good for your sell setup. So everybody don't freak out if this goes back a little, right? If this starts to go back a little here, don't freak out. Because from there, it's likely going to go down, especially if it goes up very slow. All right, so what you're looking for is managing the patterns. See what patterns it's making. You don't have a trade set up on it right now to sell. Wait for that pattern to complete itself and then look for the trade. Yen, you know what I'm looking for. I'm expecting this to come back and then go up. Look for the buy setup. Don't try to get into the sell, because the sell will get you in trouble. Swiss, it could fall pretty hard, but then you're hoping in luck that that would happen. That's the only thing. Swiss consolidating, so good. Let them consolidate. I remember I said, watch this. They're probably going to give you one of that and then upside. I still think we're going to get some more upside. That you could get a drop here, but you might not get a sell set up for it. If you get a flag here, then you sell it. We don't have a flag there as yet for a sell. CAD starting to look very much upside. It doesn't matter that this pull back. If you've never seen that, well, then you should stop trading, because every time they do this, they do that, and then they drop, right? So we did this, and we're probably doing this. Good, let them make a deeper correction here and take off. That's the trade. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to do a bigger correction, because they're kind of doing a deep correction. And when they do that, they tend to, take off very fast. Worst case is you get one like this, get one more drop, and then go something like this, one more up, and then the downside. So pretty much the same thing. If they make a flat like that, you may get one more drop, and then the upside. That would be a good trade, actually. CAD would likely retest the top of the whole structure. That is the top of this structure here. Not this one, but the top of the whole and the entire structure. I think we would retest the top here. So if you get that buy, you may want to stick around with it for a longer time. Take this off. This is the one I just copied, right? Because this might be all the correction you get here, an ABC, and this is a slow climb to the top. At some point, they start getting very aggressive, breaking the top. So you might start looking for that to go up. Remember, I said at this point here, they would have to tell us what they're going to do at this point here, right? Either they're going to break down or they're going to go up. Now let this confirm upside, and then you can stay with that trade. Right? If that confirms the upside with a nice correction in here, buy it. Let's see where it goes from there. Right? So I'm looking for a buy in the CAD. Maybe it will take a while here sideways before you get the buy. Silver, it's probably going to give you, if it does drop, one more drop beyond these lows and then up again. Gold, I don't see the big turn to the downside in silvers yet. Not that it's not possible. I'm not seeing that clear in the pictures yet. Let's see how long they consolidate. Gold going sideways. So there was a nice buy setup here. I actually told my traders, and I hope they took the trade because then it ended up with a very nice. You might be getting another one. Take profit out if you do this, because you might get another one to that. Take profit out again if they do the same. Because if you're done with anything potentially that have a downside, gold does, right? It could make a deeper correction at any point here before confirming the upside. That deeper correction would be definitely the sign that we're going up very much to the upside, right? And that this big daily contracting flat is a contracting flat, right? We don't know that that doesn't turn into something more complex, right? But I'm going to hope that it doesn't, and that this is the impulse and that is a correction. This is all the correction, and we're totally going up, right? Sometimes you look at this and think this is all the correction, and then they said, nope, not that. We'll make more corrections, and then we'll make more corrections, and then we will go. If you've never seen that what I'm speaking about, go look at the punk hat, right? So we are assuming that that is the correction and that we're going up, and that means your buy setups are very good, which means if you get another buy setup here, take it. Take profit until they really break out of the entire structure, right? Take the short-term profit. Euros going back up. This is not new. We expect this to go. We're in the big move down, and we are making a big sideways move here. So you can get down, you can possibly get more up, you can get some more down, you can get some more up, but then eventually they're going down. What that means, every time you're at the top, sell. Every time you're at the top, sell. If this is the one that is going to go down totally, you want that trade. Which one of them is going to be the one that goes down? Well, that depends on how long they spend in that, in that thing and what type of pattern we end up with. So every time you see a complete pattern, what do? Sell. Right now, we have a complete pattern. Sell it. Is it going to be the one going down? Who cares? Your job is not that the chart has to do what you want it to do. Your job is not to even tell it what to do. Your job is to look at it and say, every time I see something I recognize as a very good pattern that will behave one way, I'm going to take the trade. If that was not the end of the correction, great, no problem. I'll just get out and get right back in, right? I'll just get out and get right back in again from the next stop. You're in New Zealand. Pretty much this one could go higher, at least break the top before it goes down. I think we showed you this one. We are expecting them to come and break this top. It's pretty easy, right? If you were following me in the Euro New Zealand, I think three weeks back or 4 weeks back, you would hear me say, watch this to come down a little here and then probably go up. Come down a little here, then probably go up. Come down a little here, well, they're probably going up now, right? Why we are looking for that? Because we're looking for a correction that we can sell. It's that easy, and it's not like that's magic. It's in the charts every time. So for those who can't see it, I still don't know why you're sitting there and not learning this stuff, right? You should be learning it. So watch this, maybe correction here, and then upside. This should be a very good trade. Euro pound, it was going to go up to come down. So you might be getting your sell set up here. You might be getting a very nice sell setup here because we want them to break that low again. EuroCAD, you might get one more. This might be a good sell setup, and the only reason you might want to take this sell if you get it from here, if they get a sell setup, is to tag this low again, right? Any buy out of if they come up back from there and break the structure outwards, you could take that trade, right? Because they're in a sideways move, they can probably drop once more, but then they're going to break to the upside to either make a deeper correction or to reverse. I think it's a deeper correction. I'm not looking. I think the big correction ended here, right? Based on the pattern we have right now, that big correction ended there. So if this goes up here, it's going to be a deep correction for downside. It's not going to be total downside. It's going to be a deep correction for downside. Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss was supposed, we were expecting it to break this and go back at least to the top, make one more high, then come down. Tag this top. They didn't. They went a little lower. So that still is there. We're still expecting it to come here, make a new high, and then go down. Why? Because we're always looking for a very simple three-wave structure. We did tag the low. So this could be from where they go if it is a running flat. But I think as of now, we're still expecting this to go back here, tag the top, and then come. So what would change that view? Well, at least not this chart, not that piece that we have there. We were expecting for that to running flat. That running flat didn't work out. So We look for, which means they drop lower. That means that is no longer a possible running flat. If it was running flat, they'll go from there. So what we would look for is if they make a correction here. Only then you look for the sell setup. If they make a correction like that, if they make a correction like that, if they make a correction like that, if they make a correction like that or a correction like that. While they're going, let them go. But if they make a correction, we will assume that that's a running flat because we broke this low here, and then we will be selling it to break the low. This has a very long-term downside in the bigger picture, right? I think we've shown you all of that in the daily. And this has a long-term downside if they break out of all these structures, right? So if you make a 1, 2, 3 here, a 1, 2, 3 here, and then drop, we could come and retest that entire low. So you may want to look for this structure here if it goes. Right? What is going to make it go? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't look at the news. Nobody tells me what it is, but I look at the structure. And when I see things like that, they tend to do it, right? So you want to see one where they did exactly that? Pretty easy. Let me just show you one. They came down, they made a 1, 2, 3, and look what happened after that. All right? So see similarity, we go down, we make 1, 2, 3. Can that thing drop? Can drop. So if it is going to drop, you have to have a strategy to trade it. If it's not going to drop, it's not your problem. You're not going to be in the trade, right? If you're looking for a sell and the sell doesn't play out, let it go. Not your, you're not going to get it to do every time. When you're doing forecasts, it's not every time you make the forecast is going to be perfect. You're making forecasts based on what you have. And what you have might not be enough information to make that forecast, but they work very well. And when they work in your favor, right? Same here, we're looking for a correction and then continuation to the upside. So could this come back all the way here and then go? I think so. So let's watch this. This could be some kind of a big expanding or running flat eventually and then upside. Right? If you want to see one like that, let me just show you right here. Move down, correction, move down, move up, correction, move up. See? It's not difficult. It is as simple as that. Why traders still don't get it? This piece becomes complicated for them. And that's where our group comes in. We teach you how to understand everything that is in there and then how to trade it. Right? Right now, short-term downside, longer-term upside. Pound Swiss, watch this pattern. There's a very good chance they're going to break for one more up. So if you get this as a buy setup, now it's not. Now it's already dropped. So there isn't the buy setup. The buy setup, those they're gone. So if it comes back here and then started, you might get a buy somewhere here. That would be a better one for you to go there and then catch that one. Can I show your buy setup to take pound Swiss? I mean, show the pattern that we're representing. I think I showed that at the very start when we were thinking. When we were here, we had a breakout here, and then I bought. What should I do by the rules of our group? What we should have done with that trade? Close it. Why I didn't close it? Like I said, I'm not short term. If you were trading for this to come here, you should close the trade. Right? That's a rule. We have a rule that say that, right? I'm not going to go into details of it. But if we were just trading for 1, 2, 3, you have to close that trade. Right? That trade is no longer valid. But if you're trading for this trade, you notice I go one time up, right? If you're trading that there's a possibility that this trade is going to happen, then you can keep the trade. So what would be different in your strategy? Your strategy, the two strategy of trading, one is to get it here and the next one to get it there, are different. They're different in where you should put your entry. They're different in where your stop is going to be. They're different in what lot size you're going to put. And they're different in how long you can be in that trade. So when you understand all those rules and all those things, they're all based on a very simple thing. They're all based on the pattern we're looking at. If you're looking at the smaller pattern in here, that's okay. But if you're looking at this pattern, that's a whole different story. Like I said, it's easy. It's very easy for me to show you 1, 2, 3, right? It is difficult to trade it. And why is it difficult? Because you have to break it up into time frames. You have to break it up into different patterns, different levels of pattern, different degrees of patterns, understanding which strategy you're going to use or what time frame and which strategy you're going to use to trade on what different time frame, how you trade. I told you this week I put one person to trade in 4-0 and one person to trade in 15 minutes because they have different nature. The nature of how they trade and the time they have to trade is different. So they're going to trade differently. We don't have a signal service. I don't call people and say, hey, all of you take this trade. That's not how we do it. We have independent traders in the group. Everybody should learn to be an independent trader. You trade what you want and what time frame you want and when you want. That's the whole thing. Our group is of independent, successful traders. It's not a group where one person come in and give you signals. It doesn't work like that. We train people to trade. Punkat, this is another one. Well, this one is not such a big, long trade, but this one is a nice trade. If you get it, it's going to probably come, test the stop, and then we can look for the sell from there going down, right? So would the pound CAD and the pound Swiss do the same thing? Not necessarily, right? They could do different things, but watch them both to see. If the pound Swiss, there's only one case we're looking for pound Swiss to go down. That is if this turns out to be a leading diagonal. And even if it is a leading diagonal, then they will still have to come back here before they go, right? Even if it is a leading diagonal, they still have to go back there before go. That is understanding pattern. So when you know that, you have that information in your whole trading thing, you can say, well, hey, I'll take the chance. Take the chance for it to go to the top, and then I'll probably move it to break even, and let's see if it breaks out. If it breaks out, great. If it doesn't break out, then no big deal. Right? So there is always understanding the entire complexity, everything. The more information you have, the more informed you are with your trading. Right? The least you have, the less informed you become. So let's go with this pattern. I also told you this pattern is downside, and that has not changed. Anybody think that has changed? So the only reason you might panic if you're looking at this pattern and don't understand it, the only reason you would panic is because you have no idea what trading is about. So if you look at that piece and you ask me what I think about that, I think that is downside. Do you notice that piece there? Do you notice this piece here? And do you notice that piece there? Did that change the structure of this going down? Even this one did not change the down move, but that is not one you would stay in. That is one you will get the hell out of, and then you will look for a sell from the top. We're not going to go to details of patterns. So we're here. Can this thing do that and then drop? Sure, you wouldn't stay in a trade that long. You'll get the hell out of the trade, right? And then go down. But this downside has not changed. That doesn't change. That is still there. So what do you do with a trade when you're in it? You take your trades and you have a very tight stop if it isn't going to go where you want to go. So where do I think this is going to go? I think it's going to go up. You notice it's still up at short time. The trade I'm in is a short time for them to come and test the top and then start to fall. Not coming to this stop, but test this stop. See that little piece there? Test that stop and then go down. Is it possible? Well, let's go look at the 4 hour. It's pretty much going sideways. And if it's going to go sideways like this, it is going to go up here and then come down. You want to see one of that? Take a good example. Want to see another one of that? This one, go down and then go up. You want to see the next one? See where they dropped to and then they went up. Well, can they drop to this level and then go back up? Sure. If you understand trading, you understand all the possibilities. That's the whole idea of trading. Understanding all the possibilities within the same pattern. And then you're trading as a trader with knowledge. Not somebody who starts freaking out when they see a candle. Oh my God, I'm upside down. What should I do? Should I close my account? Should I open my account? And I get messages like that. Oh my God, I'm upside down. What should I do with this? Can you please help me with this one? And I'm like, okay, send me the trade. Where you're upside down, where you enter, where is your stop, where is your entry point, and where is your target? And then traders go like, what? I have no stop loss and I have no idea where it's going to go. How would I have a target if I don't know where it's going to go, right? I'm just hoping that it goes my way and I can close it once I see some money in it. That's the strategy. I'll jump in, and if it goes my way, as soon as I see some money, I'll close the trade. That is a good strategy. It doesn't work well in the long term, right? In the long term, you end up losing your account because it starts going really big against you and you just can't close the trade. You ever notice that when you're winning, it's easier to take money than when it's going against you? You can't bring yourself to close that trade. I've had many traders like that, where I'm going to tell them right now, I'm going to say, hey, when I get, they send me and I'm helping them. And I said, okay, put a stop on this trade right here, right now. And they'll say, okay, the trade goes lower or goes higher. And you said, hey, I hope you got stopped out. No, I'm still in the trade. Why are you still in the trade? Well, they simply can't close it. That's the psychology, because you're living in a hope. You become very hopeful that, hey, this thing is going to come back. And when it comes back, I'm going to close it, right? Because it always comes back, right? It always does. The question, do you know where it could come back from and where it's going to go? And if you don't, then you can't live with that dream. You have to know. You have to understand patterns. Figure out that if it's going to come back, when it comes back, where I need to get the hell out. Because when it comes back, most of you can't get out of it still. Because what happens when it starts to come back in your direction? You start getting another hope. Oh, now it's going my way. Why the hell should I close it? Now that is going my way. I need to stay with it, right? And you watch it turn and go the opposite direction with a much bigger spike this time. And you're totally lost. If you don't lose your account by then, right? Because now you totally don't understand what's going on. And I get that. I see that every day. I get messages like that. I see traders make those mistakes and people still right. And then some people freak out. Don't trade unless you really have the knowledge to trade. I hope that is sinking in slowly. Everybody who promised you anything else is misleading you and is likely trying to scam you. So there's a nice short trade here to the upside. If you get that, they can break out and come here. So remember I said, this is the only one that has upside and it still has upside. It came down a little more, but it still has upside. That has not changed, right? This downside, this was the one that has upside last week, but it went down, right? No big deal. You should not freak out. You should not be in the trade to the sell. You should not freak out. So you can look for a good one. Can they consolidate more in here? Sure they can. But if they take off, you should be in this trade to this level and then watch it if it breaks out. Oh, hedging. If you're listening to me here, I don't know how many of you will watch this video. Normally, it's about 8,000 people, 6,000 to 8,000 people who watch the video. I hope 20,000 or more can watch it so that they will know. Never, ever hedged. Anybody understand what hedging is really is, what you do when you do spot hedging? The word hedging is not used for spot trading. Right? Let me explain this to you. When you do business and you make a big sale and you're going to be paid in the future, you hedge the trade. You hedge this for that specific reason. So if you know you're going to receive $1 million or $20 million in whatever currency, let's say Mexican pesos, you're going to receive 20 million 1 month from now. And you don't know 1 month from now where the Mexican peso is going to go. Then you go to the bank and you hedge that 1 million or 10 million or whatever that is. You hedged it with the bank to buy pesos exactly at the same rate on the day of the contract. You pay a small fee for that, but you know that on the day when you collect it, it doesn't matter whether the peso is weaker or stronger, you will get your 10 million worth of dollar or whatever you're hedging it against, right? When you're hedging on spot, you know what you're doing? You're taking your losses. So you have a buy. It was going in your way and then it dropped like this and do this and then it drops some more. You panic and you close it. You put a sell here. So now you have a buy here and a sell here. Do you know what a buy and a sell means? Anybody wants to make a wild guess what a buy and a sell means? It means you have closed the trade. And that's your loss. Whether you accept it or not, it doesn't matter. That is your loss. The only reason you don't see the loss is because you have both trades open. At some point, you're going to close one of them. And what is your dream? Is that when this starts to go up, I'm going to close this one and then let it come here. And let me show you what happens to most traders who do that. I'm going to change a different color. It starts to come up very nicely and hope comes in, right? You close this. Well, let's say you close it exactly on the spot. Most of them can't close it on the spot. They will close it somewhere here. But let's say you close it on the spot and then you watch it do that. What happens to you after that? You hedge it here because now the panic is much bigger, right? It goes down a little and it starts to come back up. Now you're afraid to close this. Why are you afraid? Because you did that the last time and you're saying, oh, it's going to go down back again. Literally, you're saying, oh my God, it's going to go down back again. So you don't close this and then you watch this do this. And now you're profiting this, but guess what happened? You still have this loss booked. The chart can go sideways for a very long time and mess with you. Every time it goes up and down, you take losses, right? And you're going to lose your entire account because you have no idea what you're doing. You just don't have enough experience and enough knowledge of wave and of the waves and how they behave and patterns and which pattern you're in. If you have that knowledge, then you can do it. And you still shouldn't hedge it. Just close the darn trade and take the next one, right? You get locked, not only locked up, they increase their losses. They close the piece for losses and end up increasing the losses until the account blows up. Don't do that. That's not the purpose of hedging. People who teach you to do that stuff have no idea what they're doing. They've probably blown up about 20 accounts and they made a success on one, and they're then say, hey, you know what? Look at this. I have a $2,000 account that is working good in hedging, right? A $2,000 account that's working good in hedging. That's the professional trader who's going to teach you to do hedging. Don't do that, guys. Understand. Do some studies before you actually do trading. Do some studies. Take a whole year and study. Learn about all these stuff. You know, you're going to be a professional in this. Learn about it, right? Never hedged. You see any hedger, I'm upside down in all these trades. You notice I'm hedging any one of them? No, you don't do that because you're going to lose your account, right? If you do that, that's the fastest way to lose your account. Start hedging your trades upside down and you will learn a lesson. So let's go. Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand break. It is still downside again. They're pulling up. Let's look at the structure. We broke that big one. We dropped. When you make a move like this, what do you expect it to do? You expect it to correct and then drop again. They will do that every time. That's what they do. So is the correction over? Well, we thought it's over when they broke this trend line. We thought maybe it's over. So we're looking for what? What did I say to look for? Expect them to correct here and then probably drop. Well, they went a little higher than I expected. So the chances are they could still retest the top. Would they retest the top before they go? Well, let's see. Do we have a buy setup? If they're going to retest the top, we want a buy setup. So if they consolidate here long enough and give us a buy setup, take a chance for one here or leave it alone. Let them go break the top and then look for the sell. Because sometimes when you see what you think is a consolidation here, what you think is a consolidation without understanding the interns of that, it could be a very small leading diagonal. And if that is a small leading diagonal that you will mistake for a corrective structure and you buy on the wave up is the correction, you buy on that wave up, you're going to lose your account because the next wave that drops, if you don't have a stop loss, is going to be really sharp. If you have a stop loss, good for you. You're going to have a small loss, right? I can show you a number of them that did that. We don't have the time for that, but that's one of the things I show my traders when we do, right? Watch these patterns, watch the internals of these, but understand which one is going to work, right? What do I think about having a long account and a short account? I don't think anything about it. I don't know why you need that. That's like, I will buy something and then I will sell something. It's the same thing. You just booked your loss. You're hoping that one account make money and one wouldn't make. Why? Why? It's either you're going to make money or you're going to lose money. Why you want to make on one side and then lose on one side? What you can lose on both sides sometimes. You take a long and you take a short and then it goes up, take you out, it comes down, take you out, and you lose on both accounts. That is if you use stop loss. If you don't use stop loss and you're hoping that it's going to go one way or the other, that's a waste of time, I think. You can do that if you're selling signals and you want to prove that you made profit somewhere on one account. So you take two very small accounts. Can you imagine me having two $500,000 accounts, one for buy, one for sell? You don't have people doing that crazy stuff, right? Yeah, it's like a split of personality. You're either long on this thing or you're short on it. You can't be both ways on it. That means you have no view. You have no idea. You're not even a trader. You have no idea where it's going to go. For you to be a trader, you have to be analyzing it, and you have to have a view. You have to have a very definite view where it's going to go, right? If you don't have that, then you have nothing, right? You can't say, I think it's going to go up, I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go up. Why? And what should I do to get in? If it's going to go down, what should happen and what should I do? It's that simple. It's not like I will just buy and sell both and then hope, one work. It's a waste of time. New Zealand yen. Downside, very deep correction. Can they retest the low? We were expecting this to go up more and it started to go slow. So I thought they're going to correct and then go back. They can still correct and go back. If you get a buy here, you can take that trade because they can start to do this and then take off. The bigger structure is upside. Short-term structure is either retesting the low or making a bigger correction in here, right? A bigger correction is there for upside. I don't see the big picture is upside, but these corrections are taking a long time. You can see it, right? I think this is easy to show you. This is how I would draw it. Impulse, correction, impulse, right? And it works every time. So this move here, right? It's either that move is going to make a deeper correction in here, right? In this piece here before you go up, or they're going to drop, retest the low, and then turn. They can do both. Both of them is within the structure. Short term, your trade is to the upside, right? Short term, if you get a buy setup here in the 1 hour, look for that trade. Now, would it go that much? I don't know, but if it goes that much, you're lucky. That's a short-term trade. CAD, short-term upside, long-term upside. They've pulled back pretty deep, right? So the only thing is this all the correction, or is this going to go now, or is it going to go very slow, come back here and then go? That's your only problem that you would have to. And we can only know that by the end of the week. We can't know that now, but you're looking for buy setups. So Sian, this is a gift for everybody. You want this trade to the upside. This is your gift. If you don't see that, stop trading, right? I'm going to make this very simple for you. Win or loss, I don't care. If you don't see that buy setup there, if you don't see that trade, stop trading, right? The worst case is you're expecting it to come here. That's the worst case. You're expecting it to come here very slow and then make one more low. That is a 1, 2, 3. And if it comes very slow, that will take a week. So no matter how slow you are, you have a week for that. And then downside. I think it's going to go really fast at this level. Right? I think we'll get something like this. Really fast to that level. See that? Now, if I'm right about that, that's a gift for you. If I'm wrong about it, you will just make, I don't know, about 100 pips. How much you're going to make if I'm wrong about it? You're going to make about 200 pips if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, it's coming to the top here. And if it does what we expect it to do, which is why we are in that trade, if it does what we expect it to do, you're not going to be in one trade, but you're going to be in a number of trades going like this. And then we'll have 1, we'll have 2, we'll have 3. But this immediate trade that you're looking at, you see I have it in green there, that immediate trade is a very good buy that you don't want to miss. Now, the only question you'll have to ask yourself, is it going to go from here? And that is unlikely. We think they might retest the low here. Watch these lows. They might retest the low. Watch for a buy setup somewhere here and then take the trade. Comes back to the top. It doesn't go. Get out of the trade. Come back here. Buy the low. Go again. It doesn't go. It come back to the low. Repeat the process. So if it breaks out this week, you should be in the trade. If they stay here sideways this week, you may or may not be in the trade. Depends on where it is, what level it is sideways. Now, if you can do that, great. If you can't, well, how else can I help you? Make a wild guess, right? So this is a trade we are watching very closely, and very likely most of my traders will be in this trade. Let's see how it goes. Take a snapshot and keep it. Aussie yen. This is also going sideways. I think short term we might see this go up a little, but we don't know whether the correction is going to be here or whether the correction is over. Right? We'll watch for that. This one is not so good. If I have to trade any of the yen pairs, I'm going with a Swiss yen because that is classical. So if I have a set of money to, it's very simple. If you have a set of money that you want to risk and you're at the horse race, you pick the horse that has the highest probability of winning, right? You're not going to say, okay, let me just put it on 10, all 10 of them, see which one is going to win, right? That's the guy who go both sides. You pick the one, and the one with the highest probability is Swiss yen. So I'm going to go with that one. Aussie Swiss. This could go both ways because we only have one move. And when you have one move, you wait for them to correct for continuation, or you wait for them to make a bigger correction here and then go up. So not much to do there. Short term, you might look for buy setups. Why buy setups? If they start to correct to the upside, even if they start to correct to the upside, you can get short-term trades, which means it might take a week to correct, and within that week, you can trade it up. Aussie, New Zealand, same thing. We're looking for this buy. Those of you who are in already, very good. Those of you who are not in, or those of you who are in and actually broke. Remember, I told you this is going to go up, right? So I closed my trade and I didn't manage to get in back. Some of my traders got in back immediately. They were there when the Asian session, that setup happened. I was asleep, woke up, it's already here, but I will get in the trade. So where would we get in the trade? Watch this correction here. They're making some corrections in here. You can see that pretty well. Let me just circle it. You can see there's some correction made. So they'll probably do this. They'll probably come back here and then you'll get your trade. So if they correct within there, you can get your trade from here going up. You might want to get into this trade. This could be a very big trade to the upside, right? Was the New Zealand news, right? Yes, Deshaun, you remind me about it. It's my traders, they got it from the bottom here. That was amazing. They got in right in from the bottom here. All of that, right? So you can even close it and then re-enter again. You're still good to go. See, that's why I train my traders to trade. So I don't have to be there to give them signals. They can take trades without me. They're very independent, very good traders. Hopefully all of them can be, but we are working in that. This is also a big sideways move right now. I think we can retest this low, and most likely they will retest the low. They'll probably just drop, and then go back up, right? So if you get a sell setup short term, you can take the trade. It's not the best trade, not the best chart with setup, so you can probably stay out of it. New Zealand CAD also not the best chart with setup. Stay out of it. We're in a big sideways move. You can see that, and you're at the low of it. Not the best place to trade. Leave it. New Zealand Swiss, this should be a good one, but this correction is pretty small. Probably wait for flags and sell. At some point they will correct this, so you have to be careful. When you get this, that will be the sell setup. You see what happens here when you drop? If you were selling that, you have to get out for break even, because they make deeper corrections and then they drop, and then you get the bigger correction here, and then you go. When they make a move like this, they tend to make a bigger correction before they drop. Right? They tend to do that. Not as big as the previous one, but they tend to make bigger. So if you're trading within that zone, you have to understand it. You have to know when to get the hell out of it, so you're not stuck there sideways for a long time. Cat Swiss, you're getting some corrections, so you'll probably get a trade to the downside. Copper is in a big sideways move. There might be a sell setup in the making, but I don't think it's ready for that, right? See, you've got a big move down. You've got a nice sideways correction here. So soon you can get this trade. Wait for a good setup here. Don't try to take it too early. Wait for the good setup for a sell on the 1 hour, and then you get. We don't have a setup for a sell in the 1 hour. As a matter of fact, I think they will retest the top. They might come a little more here before they go down. So short term, you might even get a little up trade, and then you're going to get a down trade. Natural gas. Wait, it's going to drip down. Don't sell it. Wait for it. They're going to make a very sharp spike to the upside before they go. See the sharp spike here? They're going to make that spike before they go. So you will look for that. Yes, expanding flat, correct. And then they're going to go, right? US oil, it's correcting. So we might be in the B wave now, right? Remember, this is the A, this is the first impulse up on a deeper correction, right? We're correcting this move. See that move there? We're correcting this move here. And this is your first wave up. So if this starts to come down from here, it's going to be slow. We should go back up, and then we're going to come down. So you can trade here, but you have to trade very short term. When you trade in that structure, you have to trade short term, which means you get one trade, you take your profit out, right? And it can be very messy as well. So you have to be very careful, understanding where the spikes are, where the short term impulses are. Catch that impulse, take it, and go away with it. Same thing for this. Not good trading. S&P 500 still upside. For the guy who freaked out that it dropped a little, it's still going up, my friend. Relax. Take two pill to calm yourself down and watch the chart again. It never moves in a straight line. Right? Just relax. It's going up. And the DAX, it's still going up. It doesn't matter that they dropped. Did you see this down move? How much pullback they had? I think that guy must have lost his account too, right? Because I never heard back from him. It's still going to go up. It's going up. It's just making corrections. Get used to it. Learn the trade, right? Nifty going sideways. And like we said, you have to watch it. My Nifty traders are enjoying this because they're doing exactly what we wanted to do. 1, 2, 3, come here. You're coming back down, and then you're likely going to go back up. See, when it breaks the top, look for yourself. See how much moves we are forecasting? Up, down, up, down. If you follow me in the Nifty, that's what we're saying. Watch it up, down, and then you get the move, right? So this is making a bigger correction. They're just making all those internal corrections on the B wave to decide where to go. Bitcoin, where is it going to go? See that entry point there? That's where my traders got in. I told you guys, ignore the news. Forget about everybody writing that Bitcoin is going to go down. It's not worth. It's going to the dog. People are trying to, manipulate it, all kinds of BS in the news, right? Watch the charts. If you watch the charts, you got that trade. It's very simple. We told you what it's going to do, because if you look at the charts, you can see they were already preparing to do it. You know when they started to prepare to do that? When they started to do this. It's not because of a specific news event they moved that. It's because they've already done all of this. And they've accumulated enough to go up now. So what they're going to do, they're going to Make a little correction here, probably do. A little correction here, a little correction here. When they got all the buyers in that level there, when everybody's buying here, when 100% of the people who lost their pants already sold their house and decide to come and buy there, they're going to drop it back on you. The market is manipulated. Welcome to trading. It is manipulated. That's how trading works. It's manipulation all the time. If you want to make money, you have to manipulate the market. That's basic principles of buy and sell. If you buy something for $1 and you sell it for $2, that's manipulation, right? So if I go into any market where there's, I don't know what they're selling tomatoes, and there are 10 people selling tomatoes, and I bring 10 kilograms of tomatoes to sell, and there's 100 kilogram in the market, I could manipulate the market. All I need to do is buy up the 100 kilogram, literally buy the 100 kilogram up, raise the price, and then start selling for a higher price. Or I could bring 200 kilograms in the market, flood the market, drop the price to this level, everybody starts selling cheaper, buy it up, and then move the price up. Market is being manipulated. Welcome to it. It always does. And especially things like these, they are manipulated. Get used to it. Can you read the manipulation? Of course you can. That's what we're doing. That's what we teach you to do. And that is why if you were in my group, instead of selling it, you're buying here. That's the difference of how we don't read the news. I don't read the news. Let me explain it. The first time I made a forecast on S&P 500, I clearly put in S&P 500. Hey guys, I don't have a clue what S&P 500 is. Literally, I'm not a specialist in it. I haven't read anything on this. I don't know very much about it. I know the basic stuff, what it is. But when I said I don't know what it is, I mean I don't know very much about it. I'm not an experienced person on this pair, on that whole thing. Guess what? One guy came and wrote, you got to be careful if this guy is dangerous. Guess whose forecast was correct? Go make a wild guess. It's still in TradingView. You can go and check it out. It's crazy to think that you understand what the news is out there and how it's going to react. That's how dumb he was. He has no idea that he knows nothing. It's the worst stage when you know not, you know not. You should at least know you don't know the things. Know what you don't know, and then you're powerful enough to understand what you know, right? This is going to go sideways, and then if it goes sideways and make a nice correction, you get another buy setup. We're expecting it to come tag the stop, and then we will see whether that is a flat for more downside or where they're totally taking off. There's a bigger daily structure whereby they can go much higher. But when they're in this kind of a pattern, you have to be careful of this happening. See this? You have to be careful of this happening to you. Come to the top and then drop again. So can they come to the top here and drop it one more time? Absolutely. You start buying from the bottom here again, you will get enough reason to buy there. That's what you need to do. Learn this stuff, guys. Same here. Same here. Telling you about all of them. Same here too, right? And same here too. Absolutely nothing new, right? You can see them. Let's go. They're still buy setups. All of those are still making buy setups. You don't have the buyers yet, but they're all making buy setups. They're all consolidating for more upside. Somebody wanted the Mexican peso. This is making a very, very, very messy correction here. So what that means is that somewhere in here, you're going to have a running flat. Let me just bring this up for you. Somewhere in here, you're going to have a running flat. You're probably going to break the top. You're going to come back here, probably go back there, and then you're going to go down. So you're just making a very complex pattern as it is. You're going to go sideways up and down for a while. I don't think this is an up move, and I don't think it's a down move as yet. It's just in a sideways move. Eventually, if they stay there, they're going to go down, right? Let's see. I think we have very little more to look at. That's about it, what you can see. So everybody, please trade with care this week. And if you're interested in what we do in our trading room and the webinar and what the course is about, give me 3 minutes and I'll tell you. So what do you get when you buy the course, when you join us? I don't like to say we're selling a course because we don't really sell you something. You join our group for life. So does the lifetime access have any kind of regulation in it? Of course. When you join our group, we want you to be active traders. If you're not going to be active traders, you will have to relieve yourself of being in the room. But we're hoping that you want to become a professional trader. That is why you join us. So what happens when you join us? When you join us, you get access to the room. Within the room, you get a daily webinar. Every day I do a webinar, more in-depth than I do here, which is explaining patterns, explaining trades and all of that. We train you. It's a 6 weeks training process. You don't have to worry if you miss anything. It's recorded for you. You get a recording. And we train you practically. Most of what you get in there is not just the recording, it's the practical part that makes you the trader. If it's just the recording, you will never learn anything from it. You can trust me on that one, because we have traders in our group for 6 months and they're still struggling. We train you. We do one-on-one training with you, which means you're in a small group and then you present. You present to that group. In a group of 5 to 10 people, you present and show how you read the chart. We're going to have a senior trader in there who guides you and tell you when you're going wrong. And you get a lot of that type of training. You get 3 weeks of that type of training. And only after that 3 weeks, you get into the bigger group and you still get practice sessions. We have a group that runs 24/7 where you can go and practice, and you will have over 100 successful traders in there to help you. So would you get guidance? Of course. And then you get to do one-on-one with me. If you're struggling with the traders, you get to do one-on-one with any one of my senior traders. If you're still struggling, we attach a senior trader to you to help you. The idea is we want to make everyone a successful trader. That's it. So if you want to join us again, you have at the very start of it, I put my Skype name there. You can just send me a message. If you're not sure, that if you think anybody is scamming you out of anything, if you're trying to buy my webinar and you got to somebody else, then that's a problem. You get directly to me. So if somebody's scamming you somewhere, it's up to you to take a decision and say, hey, I'll call the police on you, right? You're not going to scam me. If you want to be scammed, well, then that's okay. If you don't get direct to me, then you're being scammed and you wouldn't get the learning you're getting. So it's up to you to make that decision, right? I hope all of you have a great week of trading, make money, because this week there have been 2 weeks of consolidation. This week you might start get some movement, right? Make some money, and let's see what it looks like next week for all of us. And you get to see my account again next week. I hope you can help share this webinar. Why you need to share this webinar? Because there's a lot of people out there who are still being scammed, who have never seen what we do, who don't know how this thing works, and you can help them. If you like, you're here because I assume you like what I do, right? If you do like what I do, please share it. Save another soul, put it that way, right? He will watch it, and then you only have to use the free webinar. It's not a must that they will come to my course. If they do come, that's okay. If they don't, no big deal. So I would see all of you guys. Take care, have a good weekend, and see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.